Not good looking.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Parts Cannon Garage. Something a little different today for you. I'm going to be fixing my golf cart. Yes, my golf cart. It's been broken for about a year. I highly suspect that it's the carb, and it's never really run right since I got it. I think the carb, it was stored for a long time with old gas. But it's run well enough, but it's gotten to the point where I can't really use it anymore. It really won't start at all. So, we're going to swap that carb out today. I went online and tried to find a carb kit. I think there's 3 or 4 gaskets and all kinds of stuff that I was going to use to rebuild the existing carb. I thought that would be interesting. The carb kit that I could find online delivered was about $21, and it was going to take 7 to 10 business days to get delivered. So just out of curiosity, I went on Amazon and I found the actual carb itself with all new gaskets and a fuel filter for $31, delivered in only 2 days, prime shipping. So in true Parts Cannon Garage fashion, I decided let's just get the new carb. Why not, right? So here it is. But before we do that, it's time to finally bring the dinghy down from the hoist and get that thing out of here. And we can start to use my ceiling hoist winch to lift up some of these motors and weigh them and all that fun stuff. So I'm pretty crazy about having everything in here on wheels, and now you'll see why. Well, I have everything out of the way. That's why I decided I might as well just bring the golf cart in. Here he is. This is Riverside Ralphie. Say hello to Riverside Ralphie. I might as well jump in and show you what it's doing or not doing. So I'm pulling the choke right now. Sometimes you can get it to cough a little bit. So that's about it. You can get it to sputter a bit. It won't hold that rev. It feels like it's running out of gas constantly. So I think this is a carb problem. So let's take a quick tour of the old EzGo golf cart here, and then we'll jump into it. This is an EzGo golf cart. I think this is a 2010 or maybe a 2008. It's got the Kawasaki engine. They're pretty much all the same. A golf course near me went out of business pre-pandemic. Golf was struggling, and I was lucky enough to get car number 1. There's really not much to it. Control wise, there's an on-off key, gas pedal and brake, and then back here you have your shifter. If you ever used a golf cart, you have forward and reverse. You can hear the annoying reverse beep. Over here we have a choke, which, helps if it's really cold out, I guess, but usually you don't really need it. And that's that. So where is everything? Well, it's underneath this seat. Okay, so let me grab my little pointer. Every golf cart seat that I've ever seen flips up, and you'll either see batteries or an engine under here. And with it flipped up, you can then lift it straight up and just get it out of here. So we're going to do that rather than prop it up and fight with it. There we go. Ouch. Okay, get this out of here. Now that the seat is gone, I can take you on a quick tour under here. So we go, yeah, this is fine. So under the seat, usually on the passenger side, I don't know if that's for weight distribution, but the tanks are usually on the passenger side. Fuel comes out of here through this fuel filter, goes into this fuel pump, and those are a common failure point on these. And then what powers this fuel pump is a vacuum, I believe, that goes back down there. And then this line here goes over to the carb. So getting in closer, here's our carb under here. It's kind of hard to see because it's just so dirty. Here's our air box, feeds air into the carb. There's our battery. There's a starter motor. And that's it. So anyway, let's get over and look at the carb. Okay. Okay, so here's our carb. And the first thing that I would suggest if you suspect you're having fuel problems is to pull the fuel line off of your carb and then try to start it. And if your fuel pump, that's that thing over there, if that ugly little thing is working, gas should shoot out of that line. If it's not, then you need to replace this plastic little pump. You know, from what I've read, 50% of the time that pump fails. The other 50% of the time, you know, the carb is just gummed up, driving around, you know, dirt and dusty areas all the time. Even though there's an air filter, it can get gummed up. Old gas can also kill these things. So let me see if I can get the camera set up somewhere good here. We will test that pump first, and then we will start ripping the carb off. I know the pump works because I already tested it, but let's do it on camera. So I'm going to pull the fuel line off the carb. It needs to come off anyway. Okay, I have my Pyrex measuring cup here, giant measuring cup. I'm going to run the gas into that. So, hopefully you can see this, but the fuel line I showed you before comes over here, and there's just a standard hose clamp. And here's a hashtag life hack for you. If you like these 6-in-1 orange screwdrivers that you can get at Home Depot, another little trick, I guess that's where the 6-in-1 comes from, you can pull out your bit, and in my experience, either this end or the other end fit 95% of hose clamps. And it's so much nicer to use a little socket on a hose clamp than a screwdriver or a flathead or whatever you're trying to use. A flathead or a Phillips, they're usually flathead. So let's see. Sorry I'm in the way. But yep, look at that. So here's the hose clamp I just slid back. Now I can just pull this right off. There we go. So, let's see if I can do this in a way that we could see this on camera. Probably shouldn't do this on top of the engine, but we know it's not going to start. So I am going to use my little pointer hand and press the gas pedal down. Let's see. Keep an eye on this hose here. If you see that, you know your fuel pump is just fine. Okay, so I've never taken the carb off of one of these, but just like anything else, just jump into it, start taking stuff apart. So I'm going to remove the air filter. Let's try the orange screwdriver, the larger size on this hose clamp. Yeah, look at that. I'm telling you folks, this will change your life. There's another clamp here. You know, before we get too crazy here, let's go look at the new Carb. Our newly delivered Amazon Carb. I'll put links in the description. This may help us take the other one off. Let's see where the bolts are. That thing is so dirty that I can't really even see anything. So we have some gaskets. Wow, look at that. It's a beauty. Okay. So it does look, throttle, so that must be the choke. Huh. Looks like a pretty standard Carb. Okay, well there it is, and it looks like it's held on with through bolts that go right through. So we'll back those. The bolts may stay on the golf cart, I don't know, let's go see. So we're going to have to use a regular wrench. I wonder if this side will fit. Nope. Imagine that, look at this, having to use a manual wrench. Who would have thought? The Stone Ages here. Taking the second nut off. Here, let's see. Is it loose? Oh yeah, look at that. Sliding out. Okay, we have to disconnect some of this linkage. Okay, so I'm going to loosen this back nut here. Sandwiched in to this little bracket. Oh, the bracket is loose now, that's helpful. Okay, so this end comes off. It's the piece that connects to the air filter. That's good to know. So that allows you to take this bracket off. Oh, beautiful. Okay, here's the bracket. Oh, look at this thing. Oh, disgusting. Okay, we'll bring that over the table and clean these all up good. And here's our choke, which looks like the kind you just swivel behind. You swivel this wire backwards and then it should just pop up. There we go. If you've ever adjusted brakes on a bike or anything, it's kind of the same exact cable. And now, how do we get this out? So there's a plastic clip. Okay, so you just rev the Carb and just pull it right out. Look at that. Wow, that's so easy. Okay. Okay, well, here's our disgusting Carb. Here it is. It just is completely caked in dirt. It looks furry. All right, let's put this sucker back together. So, we know the first thing we need is a donut gasket. Slide that over these two studs. Trying really hard not to knock any of this dirt anywhere. So now this Carb slides over these two posts. Carefully. Okay, good. We can't hook up anything else yet. We need to put this bracket on. So next will be we'll just call it the odd one out gasket. The one that doesn't really look like a donut. It has extra cuts and things in the sides. So we'll put that on next, which will allow us to put this bracket on. This needs to be tightened, but let's just see if the choke works the way I have it. Something's hitting something. Houston, we have a problem. So this bracket sits on like this. The choke cable nests in here and then it pulls the choke, and the old Carb, this hole is here because the old choke kind of pivots right in there and it clears it. The new choke lever is slightly bigger and it swings out, so it's hitting somewhere in here when I'm trying to put the choke on. So I'm going to take my cutting wheel and just cut a huge chunk out of this. And that, folks, is why they don't let me do metalworking, because I'm a disaster. Yeah, that looks factory. Oh, goodness gracious, what a hack. Come on. Come on, cooperate. I cut it up for you. Here we go. Bracket. We have choke. That bracket's really not doing anything except holding that choke cable. Finally, a donut gasket. And this plastic intake piece, which this little vacuum line or whatever the heck that thing is goes to. Look at that shiny new Carb. What a beauty. $31. Gaskets and everything. And a fuel filter. Let's test out the choke. Good. Let's hook up our fuel line. And there's also a clamp on that vacuum line, which I need to put back on. The air cleaner back up. See, I'm on the other side, pressing the gas pedal. Let's see what happens. Sounds like it's struggling for gas still, but it may take a minute for that carb to fill up. Let's try the choke. Well, it's definitely the same. So I'm glad we have a brand new carb for no reason. That's always good to do. Now I'm going to pull the plug out and just see if there's anything going on there. Any clues? Let's take a look at the, whoa. Plug is very sooty. Let's try a different plug, see what happens. What do we got to lose? Okay, I'm throwing in another plug that it's not exactly the right size, but it's not too long, so it's not going to interfere. I'm just curious.
you should try to diagnose your issues and not just buy things on Amazon. So that's why we're called Parts Cannon Garage. We have a brand new carb, which I feel pretty good about. The other one was very ratty and falling apart. We have a custom choke cable bracket. That's pretty high end. And turns out in the end, it was just a new spark plug, and this thing is running great. Full throttle. Sometimes this is just the way the cookie crumbles. Bye, folks.